So actually the groom. So you like
Just you.
just you,
Just you.
just you.
Can't use your family
No, no,
members.
you can't. The family members they wait here. You go and you look and you look and they and there is a second option. What people do too is they say like, okay, so yes, you you showed us that you love her, so let's see if she's here, and they try to bring five girls and then and introduce you like, okay, so is it her you are looking for? And of course
Yeah, a
the
lot of
group says no, no.
they're trying
Yeah,
to see
they
if
tried
you
that.
even know what the bride
Yeah,
looks like.
yeah. So is it her? I said no, not her. Okay. Ah, so she's not here. So you go look for her. And then and usually they actually they put her in a very hidden place. And then you look.
How
Yeah.
long did it take you to find your wife?
Now it's for mine it was quite easy because their house so their house was not so big.
Yeah.
So it was quite easy for me to find her. And then you find her, and of course you bring her into the like in the middle of
Okay,
the
great.
crowd, and then everybody
Everybody celebrates.
yeah celebrates,
A little bit of a party after that,
and
or
then
then
party after that.
food, entertainment.
Food, entertainment, drinking local
So
rum.
that is just the approval process. But now, how do you schedule out the wedding? Who? How do you schedule a wedding then?
Yeah. So let's say if we talk about the countryside, many people don't do the let's say the wedding like the normal wedding, but that step is enough for them to stay together forever. Of
So,
course, if they
so
want.
basically, that could be a wedding at that
That could be
point.
yeah, that could be
Could be
the
the
wedding,
joining at
the
that point.
joining. Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
In the big cities, yes, the wedding can be even done on the same day. Some people do that because because of they don't want to spend more money because it's going to be an extra
Yeah.
spending
So
if you.
did you guys do a formal wedding or just that was your joining?
So we did the three.
You
So
did three.
we
Okay.
did we call it traditional marriage. We
Yeah.
did the dowry, and then the civil marriage in
Yeah.
the like in the town hall, and then the religious
Okay.
wedding. Yeah, so we did
Wow.
the three steps. But what I found very interesting was the priest. The priest he he asked us, so me and my wife. So he asked us if we had done the traditional marriage first, and then so traditional marriage and the civil marriage
Mm-hmm.
before the religious
Mm-hmm.
ceremony. I was quite surprised, and I asked him like, why? Like, why do you ask that question? And he said that it's very important that the two families get along, because he said that the goal when it comes to marriage, the goal is to for the couple to live together forever,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for the two families to get along, to have this kind of let's say real union, like
Right.
to be together, to be let's say as one. That's
Right.
yeah. So he
So
said
the
that
divorce is very unusual here.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
It's unusual. The fact is that this may sound shocking, but a few couples, for example, they try to stay together for the sake of their children,
They
and
do it in the United States too.
yeah. So
Until after the children are married, after the children are
yeah,
grown, they do it the
yeah,
same. Yeah.
because if you are divorced, the stigma is quite
Heavy
intense.
stigma.
Yeah, you're gonna get a very very heavy stigma. Even your kids are gonna be stigmatized, like kids of divorced parents.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's not common. It's not common. It happens, but not
Okay.
super
So
common.
now I got you married. So what happens? What traditions happen around the birth of a child when you have when you've
Hmm.
had your three children?
Yeah, so it's always a moment of happiness.
Yes.
Um, yeah, we used let's say we used to have the this kind of yeah, let's say people tended to be more let's say to be happier when they have boys that's long time ago, because it makes sense, because
Yeah.
long time ago they needed labor,
Right.
they needed
Right.
boys to work on the fields. So
So there's a
it's
tradition, like just I was asking, because in the United States they have what's called a baby party or whatever. Once they know a person's pregnant, the women will usually get together and they will give gifts for the coming baby.
mm-hmm,
So they call it a baby shower.
mm-hmm.
So, but with yours, I don't know. Maybe they do something like that to come. Is it any gifts from family or
Yes,
friends when a baby comes, or a celebration or something?
yes, yeah, we have the same. We have pretty much the same. Gifts nowadays, people give money.
Money. Okay.
People, so as soon as the baby is born, all the friends, all the relatives, the family members, they come to your house. Or if the mother is still in hospital, for example, they would come to the hospital and then give their and then congratulate the woman, because we say that it's like giving birth is a difficult
Yeah.
way to go through. So yeah, we give money, and we call it um, sulu rupatsa, which means patsa is the shrimp. It may sound strange, but when because we think that the mother should drink a lot of shrimp broth.
Shrimp broth.
Yeah, shrimp broth to give her strength and give her
Okay.
milk. So instead of bringing shrimp to her, we give money and we say, okay, so this is for buying
Shrimp broth.
your, yeah, shrimp broth. Um, and yeah, the celebration can have, some people celebrate at home, like it
Hmm.
can be like we can invite people, not
Okay.
maybe not some many people, but it could be the immediate family or some friends or
Right.
some relatives.
Right.
So
It's kind of dark in here, but we'll get it done. That's fine. It's okay. So we live more listening to the conversation than we are the people. So, so thanks you for helping me out with this conversation. I'm trying to learn more about Madagascar, and I think some other people will be wanting to know about it too. So we got to the point of a grandfather dying.
mhm.
So let's review what we discussed. Let's go back to start at that point. What happens when you have a death in the family of an elder?
Yes, actually, it's one thing I would like to say is that in Madagascar we have what we call the celebration of life.
Celebration of life.
Yes.
Okay.
When let's say when people die, let's say at the age of 80 or 90, which is quite
Wow.
rare in
Yeah.
the country, given that the life expectancy is quite low, like 60. So we say that that person is a homegoing, he or she's going home at
Yeah.
that age. Still, it's always a sad moment, of course,
Right.
because it's life, which is which gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
But we say that when somebody reaches the age of 80 or 90, he or she has a good life. That's what we say. Yeah, for my grandfather, yes, we had quite a hard life. Let's say the last 2 years of his life was quite tough. Tough on him and tough on my mother, because he had lived with my mother for 2 years before he passed away.
Mm-hmm. So she was taking care of him.
She was taking care of him, and he couldn't do anything. Like you can imagine, he did
Yeah.
everything bad.
He was bedridden.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah. So yeah, so when he passed away, actually, for some reason, my mom's siblings, they realized that, okay, so let's help her out.
Good.
So they decided to take him from my town and bring him back to the countryside. And actually, he died in the countryside, and that's what's interesting, because of the bad road condition. So the we couldn't when we learned that he passed away, people, so my father and some friends, they couldn't reach the village on time because of the road condition.
When you say on time, what would be on time?
Yeah, because we needed to inject the
Okay. So you're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
embalming, but
Yeah.
And for you guys, you were going to do some bombing with the family was going to do bombing because you
Yeah.
don't have morticians here in this country.
Not yet.
So you have you
Um,
basically get the chemicals from you buy it from a pharmacy or something.
Yes.
So who
exactly.
has the tools?
In fact, you go see a doctor first
Okay.
because this kind of products you need to have a prescription from an official doctor.
Ah,
to
okay. I have
get
to have
it.
prescription.
Yes.
Okay.
So you go to see a doctor first with what we call the death certificate.
Yeah.
Then you can buy it. But the injection is done. You can get the tools too.
Yeah.
And somebody from the family does it.
But this is not inexpensive either. Every family can't afford to do this.
Yeah, but still, it's when it comes to death in Madagascar, people do try to do the impossible. That's what we say.
Yeah, I think you were even saying that some people borrow money.
Yeah, they
to
borrow
do-
money.
to do this.
Yeah, if it's necessary, it's necessary. So they would borrow money to, let's say, to solve the problem, and then they see what happens next.
Right.
So it was very interesting because it was a late injection. Of course, the body started.
What, 2 days ago? 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, let's say a day and a half.
Day and a half. Okay.
A day and a half. So the body started already to decompose, but we had to take him from that village to here to the capital city.
Oh, you brought him from a village. How long
Yeah.
a journey was that?
Wow, 1.5 days.
1.5 days.
A day and a half.
So did you have the van that had the flag on top of it?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So when there's a body that's on a van, you guys put a national flag on top of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Every
okay.
time in Madagascar, if you get the chance to travel in Madagascar, every time you see a minivan or a van or any vehicle with Madagascar flag on the roof, it means that it transports a dead body somewhere on the roof.
Okay.
That's the way we do it.
All right.
It was quite intense because he was taken from the countryside to my town, which is 400 kilometers from here.
Wow, 400 kilometers. Yeah.
So we already so we could already smell the decomposition.
Yeah.
But we have the tradition of not spitting out, for example. Like you can't, like no matter how intense the smell is, you can't, like you have to bear it because it's
Your family.
your family, it's your ancestor.
Right.
So yeah, when we did the drive.
So is he wrapped up in like a swaddlings or like a gauze or something like that, and you put him in something, and when he's on the van, is he in like a plastic container, or how is that done?
Yes, actually we use what we call shrouds.
Shroud. Okay.
So we wrapped him with many layers. I can't remember exactly how many, but it was quite a thick. It was
Yeah.
a very thick layer. And on the very top, we had to put a plastic bag because I can imagine that to put a body which is already decomposing.
Yeah.
In the coffin, you have to wrap with some plastics.
Yeah.
So
But you don't have a coffin at this point.
we did.
Oh, you did have a
Yeah,
coffin. Okay,
we did
so
have a
you did
coffin.
have a coffin. Okay.
In the plastic bag first,
Okay.
in the coffin, and then on the roof. But still, every time we stopped, every time we go out of the vehicle,
Yeah.
we could
Still smell the
yeah,
decomposing body.
decomposing
Yeah.
body. When we arrived in Antananarivo, when we arrived here,
Uh-huh.
actually, of course, we had to open the coffin, so we can imagine the rest.
Yeah.
But the most interesting
Now,
thing,
when you got the body here, did you clean it, or or was that already done
it
back?
was, it's
So you already
done.
cleaned the body
Yeah,
back at the other place.
back at the
Okay.
place,
All right.
back at the countryside. And so the thing is that we clean first. So we clean first. As soon as the person died, we clean first because that's when the body is still flexible. Because
Yeah.
otherwise it can be very stiff. Cleaning first, injecting the formula. What is it called?
Embalming fluid.
Oh, yeah, the fluid, and then putting on nice clothes.
Okay.
That's, like the ritual. And after that, wrapping with the shroud. So the clothes are wrapped in the
I got you. Okay.
shrouds. But when we arrived here in Antananarivo, we opened the coffin. And, so it was.
Why do you open the coffin here?
That's the tradition actually.
That's a tradition. So you open, do you let him be viewed?
Yes,
or-
actually that's the.
So you take off the part of you actually cut the shroud. He's in his clothes,
Yeah.
and he's got a view in here for friends and family to see.
Yeah, so that's the reason because many people still wanted to see him, like
Yeah.
to say the last goodbye.
Right.
So we didn't cover his head.
Right.
And of course, the face became blue and really
Yeah, green already from that.
green.
Decomposing.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then after that, when everybody saw him, we
That does that last one day or a few hours?
in fact, we realized that the body was decomposing. So when we arrived here in Antananarivo in the morning, and we buried him in the afternoon. Like
Buried
we
him in
only,
the afternoon.
we
Okay.
only spent a couple of hours, and we told people like, guys, we have to do it quickly because it may not be healthy
Right.
for us. So we did it in the afternoon. Not, it's not allowed to do it in the early afternoon. That's the tradition. You have to do it when the sun starts to go down.
You have to do it at sunset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily sunset, but when the sun starts to go down. But if it's at noon, for example, it's not allowed. But it should be like from 2 or something like that.
Okay, after 2 o'clock. Okay.
So, so we carried him. I mean, some of my cousins and I carried him almost. Can you imagine that carrying a decomposing body? And when we arrived at the tomb, which is not too far away from the village, maybe 500 meters away, so actually people said that we couldn't put him down anymore. I said, no, you can't put him down anymore, but you have to hold him on your shoulders and then go straight into the tomb. But the as we say, the wise people, they were still holding their speech. So we had to stand there for maybe 15 minutes.
When you say wise people, were these religious people, were
No.
Catholic, or
No.
talking about the traditional wise people?
Yeah, wise man, yes, traditional wise people, where they give the thanking speech to the relatives, to all the people who supported, who came to present their condolences.
These are part of the people of his clan.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, and then put him in the tomb. And this is one thing, one very important thing. I was told by my mother that because he's my mother's father.
Yes.
So I was told by my mother, like, okay, so you practically have to see, you have to go inside and see where he is. So I went in and she told me that okay, so this is his bed. So you gotta remember.
You got to remember which coffin is there. So you
Not
guys
coffin,
don't,
but
you
which
don't,
body?
you don't write the names on outside the coffin? Okay.
We do. Not the coffin, but the shroud.
The shroud,
The coffin,
okay.
we leave it. We leave the coffin outside. We
Oh,
don't-
you leave
yeah.
the coffin only delivers people.
leave it-
It's not
yes,
inside the
it's not
tomb. So
inside
you
the
take
tomb, yeah.
the shrouded body and put it inside the tomb on a bed, on a rack. Yeah.
We
Okay.
call it bed, but it's a kind of rack.
Yeah, rack. Okay.
And yeah, so of course, we closed. We closed the tomb, and after that, there was a kind of it was like a meeting, like we took, like
Okay.
all the family members gather in one room and talk like, okay, so we have lost our one of our parents now, so uh, let's talk about the continuation of our lives. How should we keep our
Family unit together?
unit together? How can we keep our let's say good relationship? And we spend like say an hour, or it can be even more than an hour talking about the future. Because that happened, but life continues, and we have to see ahead. So that's how it works. One thing I would like to say is that we Madagascan people, I think I already said this before, but we Madagascan people, we are very close to the ancestors, to the people. When it comes to death, we we do everything like the family members. Yeah. So you asked me about the mortician, for example. We don't have such a thing yet in the country. Everything is done by the family, cleaning the body, even to empty the stomach. I have done that once. Like you massage the stomach to empty. So I already gave a bath to a dead person. Already put on clothes to a dead person. I think these are things you have to go through. These are things you have
Well, that
to
makes you a
learn.
man for sure.
Yeah, it's something you have to learn to as a man. Yeah, because yeah, that makes us Madagascar.
That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So we're going to go downstairs right now, but I want to talk about. I want to get just enough time to come back and talk about. Are you going to bring your grandfather out after so long and clean these bones and put them back?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that, but we got to run to go eat something. So we'll continue this. We're going to talk about that. You're not done with the body once it goes in the tomb. You guys are not done with it. You have to bring it back, and you have a ceremony
Yes.
in a few years
Yes.
again
Yes.
for the dead body. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that next. All right, where we left off, we got your grandfather into the tomb. You actually placed him onto the rack, but that's not the end of the story, is it?
Yeah.
That's not the end of the story. What happens and what happens? Why do we revisit the tomb?
Yes. So in Madagascar, we practice what we call exhumation. So actually, exhumation, it consists of opening the tomb,
Yeah.
taking the corpse, because most of the time it's not only one body, but it can be several bodies. So we take them out.
So if there was more bodies, your grandmother and your grandfather were in there, you'd take them both out at the same time.
Yes, both,
Okay.
both out at the same time. And then we rewrap. People always ask me, like, Patrick, when you do the exhumation, do you actually see the actual body?
Mhm.
Because people think of something similar to what they do in Indonesia, for example,
Mhm.
where you literally see the face of the person.
Mhm.
In Madagascar, we don't do that, but we wrap over the top. Like we see the shrouds, and we put more layers
More layers on the shroud.
on the shrouds.
Okay.
So we do that every 7 years. That's like
Every 7 years.
in principle.
Yeah.
In principle, but it's always possible to see people doing the exhumation every year because people don't always do it at the same time. So
Uh-huh.
it's always
Okay.
a possibility to see.
Now, is that the same for all clans, or do some clans clean the bones or whatever?
Yes, if we talk about the central highland of Madagascar,
Uh-huh.
we don't do the cleaning. We don't
Okay.
do the bones cleaning, but we only do the wrapping.
Only rewrap.
Yeah, rewrap.
Okay.
Rewrap. If we talk about the western part, they literally do the cleaning. They go to the river
Okay.
and they open the shroud. So they literally take the bones, they clean, and then they rewrap. They put the bones back into the tomb. That's their way of doing exhumation.
Now they do that about every 7 years as well?
Yes, every 7 years. 7 years is the most common. Why? Seven is for Madagascans. The number seven is sacred. It's a sacred number.
Okay.
Yeah, some people call it lucky number too. Yeah.
Okay.
So but it's very interesting because the exhumation is a way for the family members to see each other. And this is one very important thing. It's the opportunity for the younger generations to know each other, to get to know each other, or to know each other. Because many, I can tell you that
And they weave back and forth like it. Yeah, here he goes.
Yeah.
because we don't live in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
They let's say their parents left our village long time ago and they never came back. Then so the exhumation is like a chance for the extended family to be together
Mm-hmm.
and to introduce themselves to one another. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's part of the goal. Actually, yes, doing the rewrapping, yes, that's the main thing. But it's a chance for everybody to know each other in order to avoid what we call the incest.
And void the incest. What do you mean by that?
It's because sometimes when it comes to young people,
Mm-hmm.
let's say a young man and a young lady, they don't know each other.
Right.
They become a couple, and then later they may realize that actually we are cousins. They can be very problematic. So in order to avoid that,
Okay. So you recognize their cousins.
yeah,
All right. So while we were on this trip, we noticed that we ran into a couple of down the street that there was people bringing a body from one side in a smaller tomb to a larger tomb. So what was going on with that? And it seemed like a big celebration, and the whole townspeople were involved in it.
Yes, actually, we can say that that's an exhumation.
Okay.
That is, we can call that exhumation, but when it comes to exhumation, there is several ways of celebrating. There is several ways of doing it, depending on the regions, depending on the ethnic groups. Um, we here in the capital city, for example, they do it more regularly every 7 years. In my region, in the Betsileu people, what we saw, for example, that is something they don't do on a regular basis. But let's say they had a more primitive tomb and they managed to build a modern one. So they
A better tomb.
a better tomb. So
Yeah.
they took all the bodies from there and put in the
Newer
in the
tomb.
newer tomb, and they never touch it anymore.
Ah,
So for them,
okay.
that's why it was so big. That's why the party was so
I mean, we're
huge.
talking a whole town was going
Yeah,
there.
like the whole town, because it's, let's say, one event in
Mhm.
their in the lifetime.
And we noticed there was like 3 bodies being
Yeah.
floated around, right?
Yes, yeah. So, but that's an exhumation,
Yeah.
and so important. We Madagascan people, we give a lot of importance to the ancestors, because our belief is that when somebody dies, that person becomes closer to God. I'm not talking about the Christian God, but what we so we say God the Creator, because we believe even before the Christianity, Madagascan people already believe that there is a God who created this world,
Hmm.
uh, and there must be somebody who created this world that we should respect and we should honor. Yeah, and we believe that our ancestors are closer to that God. That's why we tend to give a lot of respect to the ancestors, so that they can pass the message. When we pray, when we pray for anything, we always say, play, please, God and the ancestors. If
Okay.
you, yeah, if you want, please, could you do this? Could you do that? Like yeah, that's like the hierarchy: God, ancestors, and the living beings. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. So how does old customs and superstitions